Hey, this is Vito with Comics on Comics, and we are here with the legendary Todd McFarlane. Thank you very much, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having us on today.
Cool. I was asking all the guys, basically 16 years ago when you guys said, we're going to go out, we're going to do our own thing. What was the reaction, and were you convinced that you had lightning in a bottle?
We were at a pretty good time in comic books. Most of us were on books that we knew were selling pretty well. I was coming off a pretty decent run on Spider-Man. I think we were all pretty sure that we'd have decent success to solid success. We didn't know it would actually be as big as fast as it was, or at least I didn't. But given that we also knew that we were going to be ones driving it and we were going to get the majority of the finances, sort of pressure was way off us, because if you get 2% of a book that sells $1 million, or if you get 100% of a book that sells 50,000, it sort of works out to the same amount of money. So I said it before, that we could have sold 1/20th and financially sort of been about in the same spot. That we didn't, it allowed us then to sort of do things with our studios and start other companies and go off in other directions that we might not have had the chance to do because we had a few extra dollars in our pocket.
I mean, you literally changed the face of action figures. I mean, they were so bad before you innovated them. Did you go, this is unacceptable, and what was your mindset when you said, I want to change these?
I've had a pretty good career in looking at items out in the world and just going, I don't get why they don't do it this way. I'm not trying to reinvent it. I'm just trying to polish it. So again, sort of like looking at a car. When you look at a Ford Taurus, it's not nearly as sexy as a Corvette, right? You just go, wow, Corvette's sort of streamlined. It looks so same thing. I was looking at a lot of toys and again, when we started Image comic books, going, wow, I don't know why they're not doing a slick coloring. I don't know why they're not doing a slick cover packages. And with the toys, I don't get why they're not painting it a certain way, or why they're not doing a certain amount of detail on it. It's just clay. I mean, there's nothing spectacular about making a toy. It's just clay. It will go into any shape the human being puts it into. It has no thought process. So I didn't get why nobody had thought to do it that way.
It was a lateral thinking process.
Yeah. So like I said, I've been very fortunate at just looking at items and going, what if it just looked like this? Like I said, not invent anything, just put a different light on it. And luckily my sort of instincts are in keeping with a lot of other people. I think that there's a lot of other people who thought the same thing. They were looking towards going, I wish they were better, but I guess that's just how they are, So same with animation. I guess they don't want to do adult animation. We did the 3 years on the HBO that worked out well, and so I'm going, I don't want to do Saturday morning. What if it was sort of dark and gritty? What would that look like? It'd be cool. So and we've had, again, pretty good success, because I think my tastes are fairly average. And it ties into a lot of people out there on the nation that are sort of think like I do. They just don't have an opportunity to do something directly about it.
And I heard you're thinking about the new Spawn, or you're working on it. Or is it a reimagining? Or is it still going to be Michael J. White, or how are you going to
get it made? It's got to be low budget, and that means that the story has to be a little less fantastic, if you will. So to me, Spawn works best if he's just sort of a boogeyman in the middle of a real world. So when I grew up, things like The Exorcist and The Omen were terrific, and then there was that one element that was in there. But even going back further than that, when you looked at things like Frankenstein, which is a classic in and of itself, Frankenstein is the only thing in that movie that isn't real, quote unquote. The Dr. Frankenstein and Igor and the villagers and everybody else is still human, and there is no supervillain to go against Frank. And so to me, all the good horror that's out there, things like John Carpenter's The Thing and even Aliens, you've got the one fantastic element, and then everything else is humans. And I don't believe you have to have a supervillain all the time to pull off these stories. And so Spawn will just be sort of this specter in the middle of, a movie like The Departed. What happens if there is a boogeyman in the middle of Departed?
I understand that you love baseball. It's probably one of your greatest loves. Looking back at the career you've had and the success you've had, would you be willing to give that up to go into baseball? I mean, literally, if you could go back and start over, would you do that?
Yeah. 10 seconds. 10 se- I missed the opportunity of standing in a stadium with 50,000 people booing you. That motivates you anyways, and going, wow, they think I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get my crack right here. And if I get that single with guys in second and third in the bottom of the ninth, we beat them. Now they wouldn't be booing me because I'd be at home if it was the bottom of the ninth, but top of the ninth, same situation. But I've said it before. Give me one at bat, like Billy Crystal just got in the bat. Are you kidding me, Todd? You got to stop everything for a month. You got to for the one at bat. So because like I said, there are certain failures that I've had, and that's one of them. I just didn't get to have that big moment. I had a lot of.
I disagree.
Well, in sports and baseball. Yeah. So and when like most of us, the times that you did that were great, you just go, okay, we did it. And I had some good times in my business and with comic books, but I go, I'm a frustrated athlete still. So, but anyway, I was late to the show today because I was out coaching my little boy. So I'm the manager. So I'll just live through my little boy now and hope that maybe someday he'll get it and I'll be sitting in the stands and I'll just go, good for him, because I didn't get to do it myself. But anyways, I in the blink of an eye I changed.